Welcome back to what is our 19th and final episode of Season 3. We'll be taking a little break before Season 4 hits, but first we have to deal with the consequences of our actions at Misr House. Let's get straight back to it on Steady Rolling Man Presents The Masks of Nyarlathotep.
Okay, so it's the early hours of Thursday, the 19th of February, 1925. The Robin chugs quietly along the black waters of the Twizzle away from Hedge End Island, leaving behind the horrors of Misr House. A thick mist has rolled in from the sea, covering everything in an eerie, spectral blanket, and causing Jacob to indulge his mania once again, sitting wide-eyed, statue still and silent in the cabin, admonishing anyone who fails to follow suit with a panicked glare. The priest continues to talk to himself, reciting passages from the Bible, interspersed with other ramblings of the nature of which is hard to discern. The craft heads south past farmland and into the backwaters, where scattered sandbanks loom on either side. After 10 minutes or so, the Robin approaches the Walton Yacht Basin, where craft bob silently in the water. All is quiet and the marina is deserted. What are you going to do?
Do you think this priest is local? There was reference to people disappearing.
I suspect so. I think that there were cells down there. They were taking people that were too nosy or they needed for sacrifice potentially, and then storing them in the cellar until they had use of them. So I suspect he's probably local. I'd suggest that we just sit him down at the harbour and let somebody find him in the morning. He's obviously completely insane. He's not going to be able to tell them anything.
Did we see any churches when we were hiring the boat?
You see any churches?
Yeah.
You've seen a couple of churches in.
So suggesting we leave him at a church and then.
They usually, they usually open, aren't they? We can just open the door, give him a seat.
Let me just see if I can let me just see if I can get anything out of him. I'm going to go over to the priest. I'm just going to very gently take his hand, put my hand on his, sort of look into his eyes and say, "Can you tell me who you are? What's your name?"
Okay, he stops his ramblings. You see, it's quite a thin, gaunt-looking man. He looks quite pathetic, really, in his soiled clerical garb. His eyes, even in the dark, in the kind of dim light here, you can see that they're sunken and have a haunted nature to them. But suddenly, you see something in his eyes that you haven't seen before, and you see him blink and kind of shakes his head, almost as if he's trying to clear some sort of mist. He says,
"You're safe now. Can you tell us your name?"
He looks down at your hand on his, and he says, "We watch, we warn," and then he looks at you like expectantly.
We watch for who?
His brow furrows. If you're not watchers, then who are you? Who are you? Who sent you? Why did you rescue me?
We lost Andy.
We lost him.
Either that or he's having an episode.
Yeah, the fog's come back in again, and he's
staring into the mist.
Silent.
I don't really want to be bringing the priest out of his stupor, because it means he's going to remember more stuff. I'd like it to keep him nice and mad.
Yeah, I concur.
I don't think we're going to get anything particularly useful out of him. I think we just have to put him somewhere safe and get the hell out, because he's a witness that we don't want.
The only thing that makes me a little bit confident is Jacob seems to have got enough out of him to suggest he's no friend of Gavigan.
Well, exactly. If that's how he treats his friends.
Yes, we found you locked in a cell. Why were you there?
He looks down as if he's thinking. Gavigan, he tricked me. He invited me to his house, and I must have been hit over the head or something from behind. Next thing I remember being down there. What date is it?
19th of February.
I've been there for almost 2 weeks. He must have drugged me. I remember passing in and out of consciousness. It feels like mere hours. I can't believe I've been there for so long.
Why would Gavigan want to imprison you?
I was investigating stories of mysterious disappearances here in the area, asking questions in town. He obviously took a dislike to it. Forgive me, and praise the Lord for you saving me, but I still do not understand how you came to find me there.
Well, as I said earlier, we might have similar interests. We came to bring an end to Gavigan's activities. We suspect he may have been behind the disappearances that you were investigating.
Makes sense. Forgive me, I mistook you for others I have affiliations with. It seems we have an enemy. You and your colleagues were most brave to take on such a man. What do you plan on doing now? Do not go back to the town. There are, well, I don't know for sure, but I believe there are eyes, enemy eyes. When I came to Walton, I'm from Colchester. When I came to Walton a couple of weeks ago, I spent the evening in the Victory talking to the locals. I heard all sorts of rumours of bird watchers and fossil hunters and even locals going missing. I was told that a bird watcher who came down from London just before Christmas went out at dawn heading for the Naze and was never seen again. They found his binoculars, though, left right by the old path near the tower. And a couple of fossil hunters more recently that came from Chelmsford looking for ammonites and shark's teeth along the cliff. They found one of their hammers wedged in the clay like they dropped it mid-swing, but no sign of the man. Fishermen have gone missing too. I heard rumours of strange goings-on at the Naze Tower after dark. Dark things moving against the clouds. Not birds, I was told. Too big for that. They glide without flapping, almost like they're swimming through the air. Locals also talked of an odd, eerie whistling sound as of some strange musical instrument. I'm sure that I heard such a noise. I can't remember when. But the local constable, Constable Marsh, he was listening to the conversation in the pub, and eventually he interjected to shut it down. Called it all a load of nonsense and that they were tall stories. The next day I received an invite from Gavigan for a pastoral visit at the house. As I said, it turned out to be a trap. I'm sure that somebody in the village must have told him I was asking questions.
Probably Marsh himself.
He looks across the cabin to you. The policeman?
Yes, we understand, having spoken to some of the people in the house, that some of the police were involved in Gavigan's activity.
Well, that makes it all make sense now then, if that's the case. He would have been the last person I would have thought. I was questioned and tortured by Gavigan. He wanted to know what I knew about the Brotherhood and its activities. He asked me about their names. He kept asking me. Elias? Shafiq? Blake? But I recognised none of these names. He told me I would be honoured by being offered to a real god, and kept repeating the same phrase over and over. No longer through masks, but in flesh, voice and storm. If he said it once, he said it 1,000 times.
And what else did you know of the Brotherhood? Do you know? Do you know of any other activities in England or in other countries?
He looks a little bit pensive at this point. I'd rather not talk about such things outside, but please, I have more to tell you, but I would ask you to please take me with you. I do not wish to be left here.
That can be arranged. You're free now. We can take you as far as Southend, and then we will see where we go from there. But we need to be rid of this boat, and we need to get away as fast as possible before news of what has happened at the house spreads.
Of course. Well, if the police are involved with Gavigan in any way, that we are at most peril.
Well, we have a car in the village in the harbour. However, if there's a risk of us taking the boat into the harbour, we might have to go ashore, abandon the boat, and go by foot to retrieve the car.
If I could ask you to take me to Southend, that would be. Maybe we can talk on the way when we are in a less perilous environment. The boat, you're kind of you're approaching the actual entrance to the harbour. You've got sandbanks on either side, and the harbour opens out in front of you. You can see, as I mentioned previously, you can see various craft, yachts and others. As you go past the yachting club, there's various craft bobbing around in the water where they're moored. But because it's around 3 a.m, it's as you can imagine, it's completely deserted. You can see the wharf where you originally hired the Robin at the far side of the harbour, and you can see the road beyond that where the car is parked, higher up than the harbour.
Can we see the car from here?
Yeah, have you got? Yeah, you've got binoculars, haven't you?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, so with binoculars, so you can easily see the car.
Okay, so it's there. Somebody hasn't moved it.
Yeah.
I look at Bert. I say we just dump the boat and just head straight to the car. If anybody is watching us, it doesn't matter. If they try to stop us, then we'll deal with that. But it would seem unnecessary effort at this point, given how close we are to make land somewhere else and then walk and collect the car.
I was in the army, not the navy, son. We're going direct, I reckon. Let's crack on.
Far.
Right. Okay. Let's get ready to jump ship as soon as we hit the wharf and straight to the car. Eyes peeled, everybody. Jacob,
I'll point at the priest. What will we call you?
I'm Father Green.
Green, right. You're green. I'm blue. This is grey, and he's pink. I'll point at Jacob for pink. Got it? Let's go.
Father Green looks a little bit nonplussed by the latest developments, but so you're going to jump off the boat and then make your way up to the car ASAP, yeah?
Yeah. How injured is Jacob?
I need help to walk. I'm injured in both legs.
Have you got
Oh yeah, sorry about that.
yeah. One of them's a gunshot wound, and the other one is
a stab wound from that club with the spike on it.
Right. Okay. Father, are you able to walk unaided?
I am.
Right. I'll help Jacob along with one arm and have my pistol out with the other. Bert, shotgun, take the lead, get the car started.
Yep. On it.
Okay. There's you all. So you're just going to moor the boat where you hired it from.
Yep.
Okay. And
quick as we can up to the car. Eyes peeled for potential ambushes.
One of the there's only one kind of very dim light here down by the edge of the water, so it affords you enough light to be able to get off the boat. As you're all getting off the boat onto the wharf, Bert, you see the priest looking at you in the light, and you see his eyes widen as he regards your blackened and charred skin. He says, "Oh, the black words." Then he does a cross in front of his face and chest, crosses himself, comes over to you and puts his hand on your arm. "Do not worry. You are a strong man to have resisted that."
I'm not worried. I'm just tired. It's been a very long day, and I need a cup of tea and a sit down.
Okay, you head off to the car then.
We're the Sweeney, and we haven't had our dinner.
Okay, so you make your way to the car with Jacob being helped along. You get there first, but don't you look around. You don't see anybody or anything. There are houses overlooking the harbour, but as you can imagine, this time in the morning, there's no sign of any movement. You're looking up and down the road. There's nobody wandering about. It's completely quiet. So you're just going to get in the car?
Yep. I'll get in the car, get it started so that everyone else can get straight in and we go. Okay.
The engine kicks into life first time, and presently the other three arrive at the car and you're away, driving into the night. Heading for Southend, I believe.
Absolutely.
How long is it going to take us to get there? I'm not sure
about
how far away it is.
An hour and a half to get to Southend.
It's going to be difficult for us to get a hotel room, given how you look, but given how injured Jacob is.
I'm covered in blood.
Yeah,
that's the other thing.
Not all of it mine.
Yeah, we're going to get there at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So perhaps we'll pull up out at the edge of town, see what we can do to pick ourselves up. I don't know. I'm really torn here. We need a hotel room, but we've got to wait for them to open.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not injured. I'm fairly clean, so relatively speaking, so I can go and get a room. But we need to get you through reception without causing concern.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to either pay heavily, which is risky in and of itself, ask for a ground floor room, and then I'll let you in through the window. It's a possibility.
Yeah,
That's not a bad idea.
that's a really good idea. You can get a bad room, one that doesn't look over the seafront, that looks into an alleyway and is on the ground floor.
Yes. What's your cheapest room?
Yeah, absolutely.
we'll
Without putting this on, top floor.
Well, we'll find some. Well, we'll be in the garret. We'll find a cheap bad hotel where they don't care,
Yeah, good point.
rather than a quality hotel. So just somewhere with a key, and that'll do. More of a flop house than anything. All right, we'll see what I can find.
Okay.
Okay, so you're gonna
Maybe not pulling up in a Rolls Royce in front of it might be a good idea as well.
yeah. I couldn't remember.
I know it's not. I know it's not a good idea, but it's actually pretty close to essential because we can't troop long distances.
This is also true. It's not. We're not going to attract attention at all. Somebody with 2 serious leg injuries, somebody who's been withered, and a priest. It sounds like a bad joke.
In a Rolls Royce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could try and find a property that is empty and break into it, or we could try and find some farm buildings that we could rest up in, at least until I can go and get supplies, cleaned up clothes, etc., that I can bring back, just to tidy everybody up a little bit.
Might we be better going back to London? But you've got contacts there. I could do with a doctor.
We're going to get you a doctor regardless, but I don't know how safe we're going to be in London. I don't know. I don't like the idea of going back to London, but the more I think about Southend, the more difficult it is for us to get into somewhere without gaining unwanted attention. Do we head to Southend, or is it easier for us to go back to London where we know that we can be anonymous and seek assistance without having to hide in a hotel? Also, we need to get back there before we potentially leave to go to Cairo. We have to close off any loose ends. And the only major loose end I can think of is what we do with Sarah Shafiq, whether she's an ally that we need to let her know what's happened, or whether she is somebody who could potentially step into Gavigan's shoes, in which case we haven't really stopped anything here. We've just slowed it down slightly.
You can see that the priest is listening intently to all of this. He says, how do you know all this? Well, Shafiq, what do you know of her?
We know that she was an associate of Gavigan. Do you know who she is? I know that Gavigan asked you about her, but do you know who she is?
No, I do not. The fact that you just mentioned her name, and that is what Gavigan, one of the names that Gavigan asked me about.
Did he ask any particular questions about her?
What I knew about her, whether I was working for her.
Well, I think you're obviously an intelligent man. It wouldn't be too much of a jump for you to realise or deduce that we are working in opposition to Gavigan, and he has been asking you questions about individuals who are also conspiring against him. So it's only logical that we would know those names.
Do you know? Have you seen this before? He reaches down into his shoe and he pulls out something, a wooden 5-pointed star with an eye in the center, and shows it. Sorry, it's not 5-pointed star. It's 8.
Does it match the pendant that the Fitzwarren brothers?
Yes, it's exactly this. It's a almost identical type. The pendant that Stanton had, it was smaller, but the symbol's exactly the same.
Right. Yes.
There you go. There's an exact.
Yes, I recognise that. How did you come by it?
I'm not merely a priest, as you may have guessed. How do you? Before I tell you, where have you seen it before?
I'm afraid that is not how this works. Remember that you are our guest and that we are helping you. I think you need to provide us with all the information before we share ours.
I am not merely a priest, I am a watcher, a member of the Order of the Watching Star. Since Judea, since the old days of Jerusalem, we have stood in the shadows, guarding the world from these blasphemous things. I was sent to keep watch on Gavigan. I have gathered what I could, but we can help you. I can help you. Let me contact the Order and take you to them.
How do we know we'll be safe?
You must take my word for it. We have fought these things hundreds of years. The god that Gavigan referred to as the Black Pharaoh, the thing that is venerated by his brotherhood, also goes by the name of Nyarlathotep, an outer god with 999 forms, who is detailed in the tome Nameless Cults. You see, I know things. We know things. Things that maybe you have only just begun to realise. But we must pool our resources. You have rescued me, and all I can do is counsel you not to return to London before we have found out what you know, and vice versa. We can help you. You need to recover. We all need to recover.
Where would you have us go then? Where are your brotherhood? Where are your colleagues?
As you can imagine, I can't tell you that, but at this stage, but what I can do is contact the Grand Witness of our order, tell him what has happened, and seek his counsel. Hopefully, he will then permit me to take you to them.
Where do you need to go to make that contact?
Well, wherever the phone box and see the telephone.
Well, given the connection that your symbol has with friends of ours, I'm inclined to let you make that call.
Friends of yours. So, where have you seen the symbol before?
One of our colleagues, friend, he had a pendant that matched that symbol, but he did not know what it meant. But it was something that was significant to his family. It was a symbol that appeared in their home and was connected to their history, and he was seeking what the meaning and significance of it was, and that is how he initially came to meet us, and that was what eventually led to his and his brother's death.
You see some kind of shock play across his face. May I ask the name?
Fitzwarren.
You see the blood drain from his face, and he almost looks like he's going to faint. He has to put his hands out in the car to stop himself, kind of steady himself. Dear God. He looks down. Sir Edward, their father, he's one of us, a pillar of the Order. I mentioned my Grand Witness, it is he. He bows his head. The weight of it all seems to suddenly settle on his narrow shoulders. Sir Edward, he thought to shield them. He never told Charles and Stanton about the truth. He wanted them to live free of the burden of the horrors we watch for in the dark. I warned him. I told him the world was changing, that darkness was rising again in places both ancient and modern, but he believed, as loving fathers often do, that ignorance would mean safety. It never does.
No.
It is even more imperative that I let him know. How did his sons die?
Devoured by creatures summoned by Gavigan.
All tidings indeed. He goes quiet.
Well, you better make that call.
Okay, so when you pass the next town that has a telephone box, you're going to let him get out?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll keep the engine running.
Okay.
Sir Edward's going to be devastated to lose 2 sons to the very creatures he tried to keep them safe from.
Well, just shows that you need to prepare your children for the path rather than preparing the path for your children. Didn't provide them with the knowledge that they needed to protect themselves. It's a fatal mistake.
And he'll regret.
Okay, he comes back after about 5 minutes. Alas, he's not there.
So do we drive to the family seat, or do we wait until you can get in contact with him?
Yeah. I think I would rather wait until I'm able to speak to him first. He should be back tomorrow.
You know where he has gone.
Butler said he was out on business. That was all he...
Mundane business or business, brotherhood business.
I do not know. I would doubt he would be out on Brotherhood business.
It would just seem unfortunate if the timing coincided with our business at Gavigan's house.
I think he's just out on everyday business.
Something else we should potentially tell you as well, though, is that there were visions and dreams that the Fitzwarren brothers were having related to their home being consumed in flames. Whether that was a premonition or metaphorical or what, or nothing, we don't know. But if that is a significance to you as well, or significance to their father, perhaps something that should be conveyed.
Yes, again, something I need to warn. Taking you there might be dangerous. We've been followed, or whether I do not know. My head is swimming. I need some time to rest.
Well, let us stop for a moment.
Is there
Again, I
Father
don't
Green,
think we're being followed.
Is there somewhere, Father Green, that you know of that where we can?
You mentioned Southend. It is somewhere that I have visited on a number of occasions. There is a hotel on the front, the Clifftown View Hotel, where I have had occasion to stay. The landlady is friendly, very trusting, and doesn't ask too many questions. I think that were I to engage her, I could smuggle you in whilst engaging her in conversation.
Lead away, Macduff.
The only thing is my robes, as they should. I'm sure I can regale her with some story as to how it has happened.
We do have, actually, I remember we have clothes in the boot of the car that you could wear if you do not object to removing your vestments and using some mufti.
Well, these vestments are hardly fitting now, are they? They're more rags than anything. We obviously we will need to wait until a reasonable hour.
Right. Well, because we're all wearing sort of foul weather hunting type shooting gear, aren't we? With our other clothes are in the back. So.
But you're right. You have clean clothes, didn't you? You brought those with you, didn't you?
Yeah, we did. So, Father Green can wear Charles's clothes.
Okay. So you're going to head to Southend, and then what? Like you said, you're going to park up on the outskirts. Wait for the hour to be more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. When we park up, I'm going to retrieve something from my inside pocket and pass it to Bert. So this is what I picked up in the drawer in the bedroom when we were searching the house. It's the wallet of DC Alfred Hines. He was a friend of mine. He was with me when we stumbled upon the ceremony in Mayfair that started my journey. When we were taken off duty, I didn't see him again. And the next I heard was that he had died due to sepsis. Seems that was a lie, and that Gavigan's colleagues had murdered him and for whatever reason retained his wallet. So that at least resolves one question that I have as to how this all came to pass. This has been going on for years, longer than we realised.
Strange that you decided to keep the wallet.
Oh yes.
No thought to having evidence, obviously.
No. I wonder what happened to Alfred's body. Who knows? But anyway, that's another friend that the loss of which we owe Gavigan and his kind.
Would it be one of many who have disappeared for the sacrifices to some nameless creature or god?
Well, if your group is watching and fighting against this, then we obviously have a common purpose, so we can share information and help each other.
There are not many of us, sadly. Longer since the Greyfriars massacre back in 1889, the order has dwindled, but we can help you. Okay, so are you going to wait outside town, parked up, and then head in at a reasonable hour in the morning?
Yes.
Okay. Are you going to get changed?
Are we hiding in Southend until the priest can contact his associate?
Well, I think we're going to fight. Yeah. He's going to go in, get us a room in the guest house. We wait up there and see what we shall see. If we can be moved to somewhere safer and gain assistance with Jacob's physical and mental situation, where you can rest and recuperate, and we can decide what our next moves are, whether they are to see if we can mop up what remains of their activities in London, or whether we head to Cairo and see what we can do to disrupt their activities there. But either way, we will have to go back to London at some point, because we've got artifacts that we need to retrieve and investigate, because of course Stanton was the man who was examining those things, and we have no knowledge of them, and there may well be useful things that knowledge was lost when he died.
I see.
Okay.
So Southend it is, first of all.
So Southend, it's Thursday 19th. The day dawns, and you're just going to drive into town, yeah?
Yeah.
Father Green directs you to the seafront Clifton Garden, where you see a modest, slightly shabby 3-story hotel perched just above Clifftown Gardens. It's a red brick house with a faded frontage, window boxes long empty of flowers, but a brass plaque by the front door still proudly bears the name. Have you all got change now? Into the clothes that you brought with you in the boot?
Yeah.
Okay. Father Green heads down the path to the front of the house, knocks on the door, and you see a ruddy-faced elderly, well, not elderly, mid-60s lady. She gives him a hug, and after a good few minutes of animated conversation, he turns from the doorway and kind of gestures for you to come in.
We'll head in.
Yep.
Okay, he says, he just points to the staircase, gives you the key, says, room 7. I'll engage Mrs. Roberts. She's currently making me a cup of tea.
Head upstairs.
Actually, he's going to give you 2 keys, because you're going to need 2 rooms, aren't you?
Yeah.
So, okay, room 7 and 8, you head up the stairs. The rooms are simply furnished with narrow beds, lace curtains, and well-worn rugs. Both rooms offer a fine view of the gardens below and the length of Southend Pier, stretching impossibly far into the tide. It's basic but clean.
1.33 miles, I think you'll find.
From where?
The pier. That's how long it is.
Oh, is it?
Longest pleasure pier in the world. First built in 1830, its current length in 1898.
Didn't realise that Blake was such an authority on
I have actually been to Southend numerous occasions. I used to come here with my parents when I was young. One of my favourite spots. I have very fond memories of travelling to the end of the pier with my parents. Happier times.
Okay, so you're safely ensconced in the Clifftown View Hotel. Presently, Father Green comes up. We should be okay here. Have you decided what your plans are? I mean, assuming that I can get hold of Edward, Sir Edward. You mentioned something about a friend here needing some help.
Can we get a doctor here?
Could. Sure, we can.
Yes, he has a knife wound and a gunshot wound in his legs that need tending to. But also some of the things that we have witnessed have left scars on his mind that I think he needs assistance in working through.
Well, yes. I mean, I can summon I will ask Mrs. Roberts to summon a doctor. As far as the second point goes, that's probably a little bit more of a long-term
yes,
situation.
Indeed.
Depends on how long we're planning on staying here.
Well, I'm thinking more that initially we were hoping to lie low here until Jacob was recovered and Bert was recovered. But if Sir Edward and the Order have access to support network, perhaps we would be better served utilising those. We will see.
Perhaps for some immediate treatment.
No, absolutely. Everything else comes by the by. We need to get those wounds seen to so that you can start healing.
We need to get patched up, and if we are to set off on a long boat journey to Egypt, perhaps there'll be more recovery time in our future.
Yes. Well, the journey to Cairo, if we go by steamship, is going to be a few days. I suspect it might take slightly longer to make a full recovery. We would perhaps time would be slightly less of the essence now, so we may have time to rest up, take stock.
Okay, he goes. I will go and summon a doctor, and whilst I'm away, I will endeavour to contact Sir Edward again, although I fear he may not be back until later. Right. Okay. So a doctor is summoned to the hotel to treat. Are you just going to show him Jacob? Is it just him that's being treated?
Yeah, I recalling from when I suffered the same malaises, but they couldn't really do anything for me, could they? They just had, yeah. No. So I would suggest that Bert remain concealed while the doctor's here, if that is all right with you. But experience tells me that there would be no benefit to you speaking to the doctor.
You've been through this. I've been through enough with you to trust you.
Well, we need you fit and healthy, and if I thought that there was any way that the doctor would be able to help, then I would be all for it. But I think it would just potentially bring us even more trouble and questions we don't need to answer. It's just time now, I think, for you.
Okay, the doctor sees to your wounds. He asks you how you came about them
I was attacked last night.
here.
No, look, I'd rather not say too much about it. Do I really need to explain, Doctor?
No, of
It's
course not. No,
a shameful episode involving gambling debts, and I'd really rather not share it.
I'm not here to judge you. I'm here only to help you. He spends a good hour on both of your wounds, moving any shrapnel and then cleaning them, bandaging them. Okay, the doctor does a good job, resulting in the return of 3 hit points for you.
Thank you, Doctor. That feels so much better.
At least I'll have prevented any infection. I've removed some shrapnel. You should be fine. Now you need to rest though. You suffered quite an ordeal.
Oh, I will, Doctor. I need to lie low and have a think about my life choices.
Yes, you seem to have lost quite a lot of blood, so I would recommend some. Well, you're in the right place. Sea air maybe, and just rest up. How long are you planning on staying here? I will return in a week to check on you.
I'm not sure at the moment, Doctor. Perhaps I could call you again if I'm still in Southend.
And so be it. He
And once
shakes
again,
your hand.
thank you.
He leaves with his battered briefcase, medical bag even. Are you on less than half hit points still?
Yes. Dare I ask the significance?
So you still have a major wound,
Right.
which means that you heal a lot. You heal more slowly. So if you don't have a major wound, then you heal on a daily basis. Whereas with a major wound, it's only on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
Okay. So by the time the doctor has finished with Jacob, it is lunchtime. Are you just gonna? I presume he's gonna rest up now. We'll just wait to see what the outcome of the conversation between Father Green and Edward Fitzwarren is.
Yeah, I think so. There's not a lot more we can do, is there? Really?
No, I think so.
Doesn't.
Not a lot
Who's going to be
do, really.
Who's going to be sharing the room with them? Because obviously there's 4 of you. You got who's sharing the room with the priest? There's 2 beds in each room.
I vote Jacob because you've got the best relationship with him.
Fair enough. Okay.
Okay. You're going to go and have some rest then, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd need to definitely.
I mean, you're absolutely whacked, especially Jacob and Bert. I know that like you're uninjured, aren't you? But obviously your exertions are still.
No, I'm absolutely exhausted. I haven't slept in ages.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so you drift off to sleep with the sound of Southend seagull population outside of your window. Like you're suddenly jolted awake in your room. You're not sure how much you look at the your watch and you realise it's getting on towards 6 o'clock. It's dark outside. You've been asleep for a number of hours. Bert is still snoring away on his bed. A cold shiver ran down your spine. You feel the hairs on the back of your neck and on your arms standing up. For some reason, your heart is beating fast. You glance around the room.
Yeah, is the room dark?
The room's dark. The curtains are open still. Glancing around the room reveals nothing that would explain why you have the butterfly in your stomach feeling that you do have.
If I'm going to receive a visitation from Jackson Elias again, I would prefer it if he didn't wake me. All right, okay. I'll sit up and I'm going to retrieve my pistol and I'm going to sit up in my bed. And
you sit up in your bed looking around, and as you reach across to the side table to retrieve your pistol, you see a letter, a document sitting on the side table. It's a piece of paper that it's an open letter. It's a piece of what looks like aged papyrus with various with writing on.
Okay, without touching it, because I don't want to end up in the same situation as Stanton did. Can I read it from? Is it face down? Is it face up?
No, it's face up.
Okay, I'll read it.
There you go. You want to read that out?
You know what? No, I don't, because I can't see it. Hold on. You send it to me directly. I have such trouble trying to find stuff on. Oh dear. I don't like the fact that it is signed with an inverted ank. My esteemed associates, permit me first to offer my sincerest gratitude. You have done what many believed impossible, and in doing so removed a dangerous man whose ambition far outstripped his wisdom. Edward Gavigan's death was a necessity, though few possessed the courage or cunning to accomplish the task. Your methods, while unorthodox, proved effective. It pains me, however, to confess that circumstance has compelled me to act in the interest of self-preservation. The events at Misr House have attracted considerable attention from both Scotland Yard and certain influential quarters best left unnamed. I have, with reluctance, provided the authorities with your descriptions and certain details of your movement. Understand this was not born of malice, but of prudence. The Brotherhood is not a simple gathering of fanatics, nor a petty society of smugglers and charlatans, as I'm sure you're now aware. It is ancient, it endures, and those who would oppose it seldom live long enough to folly. Let this then be my final courtesy to you. Cease your meddling, leave England while you are still able, forget what you have glimpsed in the shadows, and perhaps the darkness will forget you in turn. We need not cross paths again. With all ZS, you know who that is. P.S. Do not delude yourselves that you might hide from me. The old ways are mine to command, gifted by the Black Pharaoh himself. I can trace the curl of your breath on a cold morning, the shiver of your shadow in a stranger's eye. There is no corner dark enough to conceal you from me. I wake Bert, show him the document. I will not, however, wake. So what concerns me, Bert? Well, are there very many things that concern me. One, that she's able to track us down so easily and deliver a message to the very room that we're in, which says that she may very well be able to kill us in a similar way should she so choose. But more than that, she's obviously a disciple of the same god as Gavigan, which means that she's going to step into his shoes. So we have only slowed them down.
Yeah, we don't know how badly.
Well, we have destroyed a lot of the artifacts, and we are in possession of books that they require. But it feels like she is going to be out of our reach for now. Certainly, it's going to be difficult for us to be able to operate in London or even England, given that she has provided our descriptions to Scotland Yard, which would suggest that we need to leave the country. And perhaps by making a more complete job in Egypt and elsewhere, we can break the chain that they were seeking to forge, and it won't matter what her activities are. They'll fail. Or maybe we return once things have died down to finish the job. But it sounds very much like we need to leave the country as soon as possible.
It does. Yeah, it does. Do we need to pick up that you've left behind in London? Get them into a steamer trunk and get gone?
Yeah, we need to gather everything we possibly can, get everything from the bank so that we can examine it further, make use of it if we possibly can, but we have to leave. And if that means resting up in Cairo, then we rest up in Cairo.
Makes sense to me. What about Father Green and his watches?
Well, it's going to take us time to arrange tickets and for us to get our gear. So we've got a couple of days. We'll see whether he can get in touch with Fitzwarren the father, or Fitzwarren the elder, and see what useful information they can provide before we leave.
Makes sense.
And we have to inform them.
When should we head to London? First thing in the morning?
Yeah, I think so. We can leave Jacob here for now, and he can rest up. You're not looking too great yourself, it has to be said.
I can walk. I can carry things, but
you're going to attract attention.
I'm going to need a mat, a cloak, something.
You're going to need a mask.
I could do with it raining. I'll have a big old hood up.
I would be loath to ask Mr. Finch to deliver our items to us as a last gesture before we leave the country.
Ain't a bad plan, mind.
Might be our best plan. We can arrange passage.
Which port should we head from?
Southampton, I'm guessing. So we need to research that.
Are you going to go and show that letter to the others?
Not yet. I'm going to let them sleep, but when they wake, I'll tell them. But I'll pick it up and I'll keep it.
Okay, it's about an hour. It's about an hour later after, so it's about it's getting on to kind of 8:30 at night when there's a gentle knock on the door. It's just Father Green. Just checking that everything was okay. I have managed to contact Sir Edward. He's advised that we head to Netherhaven tomorrow. He's happy to receive us all at Warren, which I think would be a good place for you to recuperate and rest up. Obviously, the news of his son's passing was not received well.
Step inside. There's something I think I should show you.
Okay, steps inside.
Take a seat. Read this.
He reads it. Looks at it. Reads it.
So this is from.
Where's it come from? Where did you get this?
It appeared on my bedside table. How it arrived, I do not know. I suspect by magical means.
The old ways.
The old ways, indeed, which means that we are in danger no matter where we are.
This is grave news.
As long as we are in England, we should perhaps take a warning. But there are more mundane threats given that she has given our details to the police. Us travelling more widely is a risk.
If she was able to trace you, then journeying to.
Yes, and I don't know whether that is. Yes, not wise, because that would lead her or give her knowledge of the order's location.
You see him thinking, and he pulls out his wooden 8-pointed star that's now around his neck. This is a Watcher's mark. The Order of the Watching Star has carried these since the old days in Judea, where men still fought things they could not name. It's more than a token. It shields the bearer from the unearthly sight granted by the old ways, from the gaze of the Black Pharaoh's servants, and worse. I have more back at my home in Chelmsford, hidden and locked away in a strongbox in my study. They belong to others, to watchers who walked this path before us, who gave their lives standing against the darkness. I've kept them for years in case such a night as this ever came again. I'll go to Chelmsford by rail. It's not far. I'll return with a pendant for each of you, and with them, Shafiq will be blind to us at least. It will not protect you from the police, but at least you will not be able to follow us. Without them, I fear you will be dead men walking.
Well, in that case, I feel that you should perhaps leave as soon as possible. There's no point us leaving here now, but as soon as we are able to, without being traced, then we need to go and see Sir Edward and then leave the country.
I will go without delay. I will return as soon as I can. I will be in time for the last train this evening, but we'll return first train tomorrow.
Yeah, well, then we shall wait.
I phone up someone that I trust to bring us the things from the bank.
Yes.
Right, I'll get on it.
Did Phil? I'm going to take the opportunity to fill in my regular reports to Mr. Finch, and also one to our benefactor in New York. Obviously, leaving out all the more nefarious details. And Miss Carlyle can have her update, and then we'll post those.
Okay, right. Father Green leaves, heading to Chelmsford. Did you say you're gonna arrange for things to be delivered, Bert?
Yes.
Okay. What to here?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so he's gonna rest. Okay, you make the phone call, Bert. Call in the favour. You're told that your gear will be with you by the morning.
Will they be able to gain access to the items that were held in the bank?
No, they're not going to be able to do that, are they?
No.
They'll only be able to bring the stuff that's in the car.
Do you need the stuff that's in the bank? Or is it stay safe in the bank?
I can't remember the books. We were still carrying the books around, weren't we? It's more like artifacts and things because they were still being studied by Stanton.
Yeah, you had the books with you. As far as the things that are in the bank, I believe I've got a list of them here.
Mainly the stuff we got from the States.
Yeah. So it was a bloody tongue mask, high priest robe made out of feathers, some weird lion's claws, fixer gloves, a carved scepter, a modern chronometer, a burnished copper bowl, a really odd mask with 4 different faces, a carved scepter made from baobab wood inset with Egyptian hieroglyphs, a headband with grey metal scratched with various uniform characters. That's it. Those things. But all the tomes, I think you were keeping those. They're in the car.
Yeah. So some of those items may be magical in nature, but we have absolutely no idea how to utilize them or even whether we would want to utilize them. So maybe they are safer for us to leave them there. We haven't needed them so far. We might need.
To be fair, I do know a couple of fellows who could get them from the bank, but
not quite in that way. Thanks.
Might be a favour too far.
Yeah. It's just more stuff for us to be carrying around, isn't it? Probably safer to leave it in the bank.
Okay, let's just stick with the stuff that's been brought up then.
Just the gear that we need.
Stay clear of the big smoke.
Yeah.
Which port are we going to be heading off from? We sussed that yet?
Southampton, I think.
Southampton. Nice. Plenty of options from there.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to meet Sir Edward then, thinking so. Find out what we can find out. So we wait again. Wait until Father Green returns with our protective devices.
I'm surprised any Fitzwarren wants to meet you two. You're like a curse on my house.
We should send a parcel bomb to Shafiq. Be a mundane way of dealing with her. Trouble is, knowing our luck, the dancing girl would open the package when it arrived at her shop.
Yeah, or we accidentally kill a postie.
Yeah, high price to pay for free shoes.
Right, okay. So you sleep again, nervously, a little bit more nervously than previously. The Friday dawns. So presently Father Green returns, and he hands you each one of the wooden stars, exactly the same as the one that he's wearing. The Bert's delivery turns up mid-morning. I presume he's going to stick them back into the boot of the car.
We need to find another car. This car is way too hot.
You got a letter to your bedroom. I don't think the car's the problem.
I'm not. Well, we are now protected from Shafiq's prying eyes. I was thinking more.
I don't think Bert knows about that, does he? Because he wasn't there when he was explained. Did you get that, Bert?
No.
Right.
Father Green. Sorry, you tell me.
Yeah. So the pendants that we have, these star pendants, will protect us from her dark magic. So she will not be able to track us in the way that she has been. So that means we'll be able to move without risking being followed or at risk from her. But that doesn't protect us from the police, and the police now have our descriptions and probably have a description, if not the registration of the car. So the car will be too conspicuous to drive around in because we're likely to be stopped. So we need to find another vehicle.
Father Green, where does Sir Edward want to meet us?
He wants us to go to his manor or in Hall.
Where is that?
It's at Netheravon. It's Wiltshire.
Why don't
It's a bit different from Mr. Finch's manor.
Why don't we deliver Charles's car back to his dad? Leave it there. Drive it up to the manor, leave it there, and ask for a lift to a train station to get to Southampton after we've spoken to.
The biggest risk is that we get stopped on the way up there, so we're taking a risk driving it.
We're heading away from London, though, aren't we?
Yeah.
I take it you've shown Jacob the letter by now.
Yes. We're never going to tell you because we don't want to scare you.
It mentions Scotland Yard. That's London, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think we'll be all right.
It's been a while since we had a car chase. Okay, let's drive that car. It's probably safer for him to know what to do with it than us abandoning it and leaving more questions.
Yeah.
Right. Let's go and meet the father.
You're going to load all the gear into the boot and then leave Southend mid-morning and head west towards Wiltshire.
Yes.
Okay. I think it's about 3 hours.
Normally it would be, but we're going to do it in an hour and a half.
Bert, you're driving, yeah?
Yep.
Okay. Trip from Southend to Warren Hall is a nervous one. Every car that pulls out behind you and follows you for any length of time attracts your attention. Every police car that passes makes you feel even more nervous, but you make the journey in good time, and by early afternoon you're heading up the drive of Warren Hall to the large manor house at the end. Can you see the picture of the manor?
On roll 20.
No, on there's a thing from the name of on Discord. Can't see it. Can you? It's an impressive grounds before impressive tree house.
It's a shame it was built in black and white.
Hey.
Yeah, very nice.
And also it's a shame it's going to burn down shortly. Yeah. Thought losing your 2 sons was bad. Hope you're insured. Right. This is going to be difficult.
Yeah.
Actually, it's not. It's not our fault. Right.
Okay, pulling up the drive.
I say we let Father Green do the talking.
Okay, you are greeted at the door by. He comes out of a silver-haired man in his late 50s, very well dressed. Father Green greets Bentley, the butler, who ushers you all inside. Tells you don't need to worry about about your luggage. He will see to that. You are told to you are shown up to your rooms, all of which are huge in comparison to the hotel that you've just left. Their own fireplaces, double beds, and oak paneling. Impressive rooms. I'm told to meet in the study in an hour, where Sir Edward will greet you.
Follow those instructions then.
Okay.
Are we going to
You
be
unpack.
open in terms of what's been going on?
I think we might as well be completely transparent. He probably knows more than we do.
Yeah.
Unpack your things. Rest. Okay. The butler comes to collect you after an hour or so, and you're ushered downstairs into the study to meet Stanton and Charles's father, Sir Edward. He ushers you. You walk into the room, and he's standing, looking out of the window across the grounds. He turns and smiles weakly, gestures for you to sit down.
Sit.
Thank
I'd
you.
hoped
Sir
never
Ed.
to see this day.
I say on behalf of all of us, Sir Edward, what a sad loss both Stanton and Charles were.
Stanton was a very good friend of ours, and although we didn't know Charles anywhere near as well, he seemed like a good man, good enough to step in and assist us with every fibre of his being.
He nods. I appreciate you saying such kind words. I understand from Father Green that you were there at Misr House, and when Stanton was taken.
Yes.
We were.
Tell me, was there nothing that could have been done to prevent it?
Certainly, with Stanton, the creature that took him seemed immune to our gunfire. It sought him out specifically, and it rose into the sky with him. There was nothing we could do. It was beyond our reach. I was not there when Charles died, so I cannot speak to as whether there was anything to be done. But if the creature that attacked him was anything like the one that took Stanton, then I would say that there was nothing that could be done there either. They both fought valiantly, but as you know, the foes we're fighting are difficult to challenge using mundane means.
He nods silently, looking grave. Charles, Stanton, they were good boys. Strong, proud. I tried to keep them from this, to shield them from the Order's work. And perhaps I was a fool. But you know now, don't you? The world behind the world. The old things still walking in the shadows. And those who serve them.
Too well. Knowledge that we wish we didn't have. That we could have lived happier or blissfully ignorant lives. Would totally understand why you would want to keep that from your sons.
The tragedy of all this is I had decided to tell them both some months back, but with Stanton being abroad, Charles with his work, I never quite found the right time. It is much a pity. If I'd have warned them, maybe they would have seen it coming. That is a burden that I will bear for the rest of my days. The Order of the Watching Star has fought these cults, and the Brotherhood of the Black Pharaoh chief among them for centuries. In Egypt, in London, in places I dare not name, but ever since the Greyfriars massacre we have been scattered, dormant. There are only 5 of us left now, including Father Green and myself. We have been inactive whilst they have not. Gavigan was known to us, as his father was a senior cultist at Greyfriars. But this Shafiq is a new name. She has remained well hidden. Nevertheless, you won a battle at Misr House, and you have shown us the way again. Will you continue what you have started?
We have no choice. We know what's at stake. We cannot go back to our normal lives and hope that somebody else takes up the mantle.
Once the veil's been pulled back, I don't think it can be hidden again.
Wise words, Sadler. We must take the battle to the enemy once again.
It is twice now that we have heard reference to the Greyfriars massacre. you'll forgive us, this is something that we know nothing of.
Of course you don't, and no one speaks of it now, not in polite company, nor in the dark corners where men barter in secrets. It happened in 1889, not far from Newgate Prison, in the abandoned crypt beneath Greyfriars Church. The Brotherhood of the Black Pharaoh had taken refuge there, a cell led by a man named Asaph Durant, one of their most dangerous priests. They were preparing a summoning on the night of the vernal equinox, something vast and old. We never learned exactly what. Perhaps some crawling emissary of their fell god. The Order of the Watching Star sent 17 men and women down into those tunnels, people braver than most, and a few mad enough to seek it. What they found was not a rite in progress, but something already begun. The creature they had brought through was like a man only in silhouette, eyes like pits of night, flesh that bled shadow. It slaughtered the first 8 watchers before they could lift a blade. The others fought it back with ancient rites, sealing the crypt with blood and warding stones. They collapsed part of the tunnel network, burying themselves and the creature inside. Only 2 of us made it out. Me and Malcolm's father. He points to the priest. The Greyfriars massacre broke the order. Gavigan's family survived. His father was chief amongst the cultists. It seems the Brotherhood has regrown. Mark my words, if they ever finish what Durant began, it won't be London that pays the price. It'll be the whole of this wretched world. Now you know of the Greyfriars massacre.
What is it that they were seeking to bring through?
We never found that out. Thought it may be an emissary of their fell god, but there were whispers it was the god himself.
Well,
as to what they're up to now, I hate to think, but the news that has been brought to me of your exposure of Gavigan, we need to look further into what they are doing, what they are planning.
Well, it's our belief that they are active in many locations: New York, England, Cairo, Australia. We have evidence that they have been transporting artifacts to these various locations and are using accurate timing devices to ensure that they enact their rituals at specific times. What we fear is that they are seeking to summon Nyarlathotep in all these locations to bring him through and destroy the world.
They've been manufacturing strange artifacts based on older artifacts.
Finish the description.
I have been idle too long. Alas.
Oh, did we lose Jacob?
Still here.
No, so alas, the years are unkind to me. I am no longer what I once was. But if you vow to continue, I will do everything I can to help you. Please feel free to rest here as long as you need. You will be safe here. Another of our order was Professor Howard Baker, Stanton's mentor and senior at Columbia University. He is on his way here as we speak from New York. If you permit it, he will join you.
Join us in our travel to Cairo.
Join us in taking the fight back to the enemy. He has much knowledge of things behind the veil. He has studied the ancient tomes and the old ways. Stanton was not aware of his connection with the Order, but he will be of infinite assistance to you.
Well,
when do you expect him, sir?
He is on the way here from New York. He should be here in 10 days.
Well, do not mind putting up with us for a couple of weeks, and look at Jacob's leg. And, I think we'd be most grateful.
We would, but you should know that we are being sought by Scotland Yard. I'll show him the papyrus. So you would be protecting fugitives.
I have done a lot worse. I was aware of it. Father Green has made me aware of the situation. It is part and parcel of. I have a lot of influence around here. There will be no prying eyes at Warren Hall. I can guarantee you that.
In which case, we should be most grateful of your hospitality. Did Father Green also tell you what Charles and Stanton told us about the visions that they had of the manor burning?
He did. Disturbing.
Do you view them as premonitions, or can you make anything of it? Because to us, it meant nothing.
It means little more to me to not know whether it was a premonition or more. There are purveyors of the old ways are able to send dreams to quite often utilize to scare or warn their enemies as to whether these things will come to pass. I do not, but I can do nothing for it. I am grateful, but I cannot. There is no way I can act against it, so I will disregard it for now. I have always lived knowing that my past deeds and those of my order would one day possibly come back to catch up with us. Those, as I said, lives that we lead, the choices that we make. I say only that my household staff are all well known to me, trusted implicitly.
Well, we shall endeavour not to bring additional peril under your roof, so we shall be careful whilst we are here and keep a close eye.
With the gifts that Father Green has given you, it will be only the local authorities that we need worry about. Now, go and rest. I'm sure that you have much resting to do. Blake, may I have a word?
Of course.
The rest of you go out of the room.
Yep.
I have made arrangements on the advices of Father Green for a doctor to come and attend to your friend Jacob. I understand that his mental state is rather frail.
Yes. Unfortunately, some of the things we have witnessed has damaged his mind. He is living on the edge currently, and we fear that if he encounters many more, we might lose him completely. So anything that you could do to assist him in making sense of what he has seen so he can cope with it, live with what we are doing, that would be most gratefully received.
There is a sanatorium not far from here, St. Agnes's Restorative Sanatorium. A doctor by the name of Voss, Dr. Voss, who works there, is well regarded. I have engaged him for some private attention, friend. That would be. I hope you don't think I've been too forward.
Absolutely not. That is more helpful than you can possibly imagine.
He will be here tomorrow, and then daily thereafter.
Thank you.
Okay. So,
is there anything that we can do for you in return?
I'm sure there is, but when I've had time to think, gather my thoughts, and spoken to my most trusted friend Professor Baker when he arrives, I will then, if anything comes to mind, I will ask you. But for now, all I would say was, please, if you are planning on continuing this fight, you must rest.
Oh, I think I will sleep more soundly here than I've slept in a long time. It is heartening to be under your protection, and also to know that we're not alone in this fight. As far as we knew, it was just us and the people that we've lost. Jackson, Elias, your sons. But the fact that we know that there are others, there have been others, and I hope there will be others that follow us that will ensure that we push this darkness back.
There are not many of us left, but yes, you are not alone. We watch, we warn, we stand between. That is the motto of my order. You stand with us.
We do now.
He reaches out his hand to shake your...
Which I will readily accept.
He grips it strongly. You shake hands and then you leave. Okay, so that brings us to the end of that particular chapter, with you all resting, recuperating, regenerating, generally trying to feel better.
That's a wrap for Season 3. Season 4 starts the 18th of September, 2025. Looking forward to our trip to Egypt and further adventures on the Masks on Nyarlathotep. If you want to stick around, it's time for the investigation improvement phase.
Righty-ho. So we're now into... Dave, we're going to do the investigator development phase now. So I don't know whether you need to record this bit or whether you just stop it before we do all the rolls.
No, I recorded it last time.
Okay, that's cool.
I recorded it last time. I'll do it after the music. Drop it in after the music.
Excellent. Okay, so the first thing then is we'll start with Jacob. Okay.
Okay.
So the first thing is with your attentions. Hold on a sec. Let's see whether Dr. Voss's attentions make any difference to your current state of... Right, can you roll D100, please? I'm actually still on roll 25. Nice.
25.
Okay. And then roll again, please.
Oh, if I roll it.
D100 again.
37. Oh,
Lovely.
hang on. So I rolled twice there. Or 7. Yeah.
No, 37.
No, 17 was a D20, wasn't it? So, yeah.
Yeah. 37. Okay. Right, so roll d6. So after the attentions of Dr. Voss for a few weeks, you recover from your indefinite insanity and gain 2 sanity points. So you're no longer indefinitely insane, which is nice to know.
Now you're just definitely insane.
You're definitely insane, yeah. Okay, so moving on to sanity, which means you can also receive sanity bonuses for the things you've overcome in the story. Right, so for neutralizing Edward Gavigan, you gain 1d6 sanity points. Roll now.
2.
2, okay. And defeating a Mythos monster, which you did, the horrible winged thing that killed Charles, you gain, what's for that? Another d6.
Yay.
Ooh, okay. And for disrupting stroke breaking up the cult, which you succeeded in doing, plus 1d4 too.
2.
Okay, so you gain all that sanity. We might as well do that across the board with everybody, actually, so I can remember the roles. So the same. So for you then, Blake, we go next. 1d6 for defeating Gavrigan.
Okay. 6. Nice.
Yeah, and then the dimensional shambler that you managed to vanquish.
Is that a D4? Is that?
What's that?
I don't know. What was that? What do I
I'm
roll
just
for that?
looking at it now. D10 for that.
Okay. Oh, I bet you roll a 1 now.
Bloody hell.
9.
That's 15 sanity that you've gained, and then you didn't defeat the flying thing because you weren't there, so that's
No.
Okay.
But I did defeat the cult.
You get D4 for that one. Okay, that's you done then.
So this, just to be absolutely clear on this, I can just add this that I'm like going way above my
you can.
starting sanity. Okay.
Your maximum sanity is 99 minus your Cthulhu mythos.
Awesome.
So 99, I'll imagine in your case currently. Yeah. So you can go above your starting sanity. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Bert. Defeating Gavigan, get a D6 for that. Ball. You didn't defeat either of the creatures, so you get D4 for the cult being defeated.
I was there for the shambler because I was with all the time.
Did you? I can't remember how the shambler got killed. Well,
he opened a window, Bert saw it, went nuts, and then I threw a grenade at its feet.
Okay. Yeah, I think so. You were there, so you should get. You don't have to be the one who actually kills it. 7.
Yeah, 7.
Okay, and then have you rolled the D4 already?
No,
you got.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So let's go to we'll do the ticks next. Then what have we done? We've done the sanity gain. So the skills now. Okay, so let's start with Jacob. What ticks do you need to resolve?
I've got 11 of them. Climb to begin with. So I've got to roll above, haven't I? Which is successful.
D10.
4. Dodge gain. Successful. Sorry, what was it again? The
D10.
It's freaking me out. You rolled a 91.
Wow. Jacob's going to be even more dodgy than firearms.
Oh, no.
Intimidate. God knows how. Intimidated someone.
100. 100.
So that's an increase of 5. That's still not very intimidating.
Yeah, I know, but you've got that haunted look in your eyes now.
Yeah, maybe. Jump. That's a success as well. 4 success as well.
Oof.
10. Blimey. Locksmith.
Yeah, for a high for this.
Nah. Occult, psychology, yep, 9. Spot hidden, nope. And finally, stealth, 3.
Okay, super.
Oh, do I get my hit points back as well?
Yeah, by the time that you'll be fully healed by the time we.
Great, all done.
Okay, Douglas.
Okay, so I have climb. Scraped it, so success.
Well done.
I have just trying to clear my sheet. Dodge. Yep, that's a success as well. Oh, flipping heck!
Another 2. Unlucky. But still at least succeeding.
Yeah, slightly. Slow and steady wins the race. Fast talk. Nope. All important. Firearms. Yes.
Oh, well done.
Nice.
Let's look forward to another 2. Oh no, I'm going to curse myself by I'll get a 1 now, aren't I? Oh, 8. Awesome.
Nice.
Crack shot. First aid. One would be useful to improve. But I don't. It's all right. I learned everything I know from Stanton.
They sent you a message, Andy, by the way.
I've just seen it.
No. Excuse me. Locksmith, yes. Oh, blimey, 9.
Nice
Wow.
one.
That is a very good improvement. I'm happy with that. Persuade, no. Psychology, no. Spot hidden, no. Stealth,
Oh,
no.
wow. That's a
Oh.
lot of really small numbers.
Throw, no.
A
Oh
10,
my-
a 6, and a 4.
Brilliant.
Okay, all
Never
done.
mind.
That's
Never mind.
appalling. I'm
How
just
many
going to
did
stand to the back and shoot. How many did I succeed
how
on?
many did you improve?
Well, that was, I don't know. I think I had 12, and I think I improved 4.
Right. Okay. If I remember rightly, Dave absolutely smashed it last time when he was rolling these.
Yeah, he did.
Let's see whether we
Yeah.
can do this again. Yeah.
Climb. Yes, an improvement. Oh, good. Oh, let's climb here. What's next? Dodge. Oh, nope. Didn't succeed that. Brawling. Oh, yes. Squeaked here.
What's that brawling?
Yeah.
Oh, bloody hell.
Oh, nice.
Nice. A
Did have
10.
one.
That's fitting.
Yeah.
That's Lex. The spirit of Lex.
Let's go back. All right. Shotgun. I don't expect to improve this one. It's already pretty high. No, I don't. Listen. Next. I've rolled 50 and I've got 50. Is that an improvement?
You have to roll over it.
That's all over it. Right. There
Yeah.
we go then. A mechanical repair. Oh,
Ooh.
99. Yes, that is over. Another 9. I would rather have more listen. But
No, mechanical repair is going to come in really handy in the next
yeah,
session.
you wait. All right, spot hidden. Oh, no, that's under it.
You undid it.
That's under it, yeah. 64, I got 68.
We're all pretty hot at that.
Stealth? That's well under.
It's almost like we know that's important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Funny that. Yeah.
But Lex couldn't see for Toffee, and it hampered me so badly that Albert is very spotty. And I think I've done everything.
Good. So everybody put that. Anybody who was injured already can put their hit points. Already said. Injuries and scars can add to those. I think that you'll have some extra scars. Jacob.
Won't be wearing shorts much in future.
No.
He's not going to be beach body ready for the summer.
Well, it's going to be difficult in Egypt, isn't it? 'Cause
He's going to be
I already-
sweating in real life.
I
Okay, so you
already
all
had scarring on my leg.
Yeah. Did you have any scarring from the miasma, Simon? I can't remember whether you had any.
No, I didn't. I made a beautiful recovery. In fact, if anything, my skin was slightly more baby soft smooth afterwards because it was excellent for exfoliation.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, there you go.
Taking the whole of your skin off and then
Yeah.
starting having to regrow it, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So the last thing you need to do is just on your character sheets under encounters with strange entities, you need to add the following. You need to add hunting horror.
Oh, hang on. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I couldn't find it. There we go.
Hunting horror,
Yeah.
Bayeki, and dimensional chandler.
I don't.
Only for the two of you for that because you didn't encounter that.
I don't have to put hunting horror, do I?
No, because you
No,
weren't
you
there.
don't. I got all
sorry,
3. I've got to catch them all.
Yeah. So it's only Blake that's got all 3. So Jacob should have hunting horror and Bayeki, and Bert just
I got
has.
Bayaki and dimensional shambler.
Did you see the Bayeki? Yeah, you did. You saw it, didn't you?
I did, yeah, from a
You saw it
distance.
flying down, yeah.
I just spelled Baki.
Byakhe.
Cute. I had an I. Baki.
I got my A and my K the wrong way around. Bad typing.
Okay.
Is there any material impact? I mean, I won't keep other than keeping
What
Yeah.
for the
keeping record.
creatures?
Yeah,
Yeah, because the more you see them, the less eventually you get used to the awfulness, and you don't lose sanity anymore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, everyone's freaking out, and the other going, it's just a dimensional shambler. What are you worried
I've
about?
seen
Yeah.
15. I've seen 15 of those. bloody things.
Boring.
Oh, man. You think that's something?
Thing is, what I haven't got in that list is spiders.
Yeah. Okay. There we go then.
Excellent.
Cool.
So before we go, the Evening Standard, Monday the 23rd of February, 1925. Penhu director and MPs killed in country estates tragedy.
The capital was rocked this morning by the news of the untimely deaths of Mr. Edward Gavigan, director of the Penhu Foundation, Mr. Ambrose W. Langford, Member of Parliament for West Shropshire and Borders, and Charles Fitzwarren, MP for Almesbury, whose bodies were discovered in the early hours of last Thursday morning at Misr House, Mr. Gavigan's country estate in Essex. Scotland Yard has issued a brief statement confirming that both men, along with several members of the household staff, perished in what has been described as an unprecedented and violent incident. The precise circumstances remain undisclosed as inquiries continue. Mr. Edward Gavigan, 55, was a noted figure in the world of antiquities, being an Egyptologist of some renown, and as the director of the Penhew Foundation, was also custodian of the legacy of Sir Aubrey Penhew, who lost his life in similarly tragic circumstances whilst overseas as part of the ill-fated Carlisle expedition of 1919. Mr. Langford, 52, was a respected backbench Conservative MP, known for his interest in colonial affairs and trade with North Africa, whilst Mr. Fitzwarren, 32, was heir to the barony of Neveravon, Wiltshire, and bearer of the Military Cross for his service in Palestine during the Great War. Whilst details are scarce, local sources describe a scene of considerable disturbance at Misr House, with locals at the nearby seaside town of Walton-on-the-Naze reportedly hearing several explosions from the remote estate late on the Wednesday evening. It is understood that police investigators from both the Essex Constabulary and Scotland Yard are in attendance, with Inspector James Barrington leading the investigation. The police have declined to comment, citing the sensitive nature of the case. A spokesman for the Home Office issued the following: "We are aware of the tragic deaths of Mr. Edward Gavigan, Mr. Ambrose Langford, and Mr. Charles Fitzwarren. There is at this time no cause for public alarm. Investigations are ongoing." Rumours continue to swirl regarding the purpose of the MP's presence at Misr House, although officials have dismissed any suggestion of impropriety, condemning whispers of secret and mysterious nighttime gatherings at the estate as insensitive and wholly inappropriate scandalmongery, whilst adding that the relevant law enforcement authorities are treating this matter with the utmost seriously and are actively pursuing several leads. Nice to see that we created 2 by-elections.
Yeah. Yeah.
That really is a wrap on Season 3 now. We have enjoyed every minute. We hope you have too. It's been great having you along. See you on the 18th of September for Season 4.